What's up, comic book fans? And welcome to Comics Icons. Now, JJ, what they call me. And today, we got more Fall of the House of X. This time, with issue 3 of the 4-part X-Men Forever series. And if you've missed an issue, then I'll place a card at the top of the screen for you right now. And I'll put a link up at the end of the video as well to this and the complete Fall of the House of X event. But when we left off with the last issue of this series, Xavier had revealed his plan to the mutants in the White Hot Room, and Destiny had hoped that he could honor their deal. But Xavier had no time, and as part of Xavier's plan, all of the mutants lost in the fight with Orchis were reborn. Even Sinister, who had been taken out while he was imitating Doug Ramsey by Charles Xavier. And every mutant with fight training has been sent back from the White Hot Room to Krakoa, with the exception of Hope Summers. But upon attempting to achieve the plan of wiping out and then resurrecting the Phoenix got scared and resisted this process. So if you guys are ready to find out if the X-Men can mount a successful comeback in this fight against Orchis now led by the AI, and if the plan is successful to resurrect the Phoenix to battle against Enigma, then you guys know what time it is. Let's get it. So this issue starts off with the real Doug Ramsey waking up. He had been asleep and hibernating inside of Krakoa for all this time. And when he asked what he's missed, he was told that Krakoa has sensed the changing of the seasons, so he had to be kept safe. Then he's told about the Hellfire Gala, and that Krakoa had been on the run and was shot to pieces. But now that they're back home, Krakoa is letting Doug out. Then we switch over to Shaw Industries with Sebastian Shaw, and he decides to telepathically call out to Emma Frost in a pretty lewd way to make sure to get her attention. But he's got to be quick, because he's pretty sure that his assistant is an AI plant, and as he's communicating with Emma, the assistant sure enough activates from the unclear telepathic contact it detected. And now as Shaw runs from his rogue assistant that's now shooting at him, he tells Emma that he paid for hackers to leave some back doors in the Sentinels guarding Krakoa. It's just a single binary phrase, and Shaw gives it to Emma and tells her to pass it on to Doug. Then we switch back over to Krakoa and the fight on the island between the Sentinels and the mutants. And Destiny, meanwhile, now being back in the time stream, starts to get visions again and kind of freaks at the thought that she can't see a way for them to win. But nobody wants to hear that in the middle of a fight, and Exodus tells her as much. But then Doug gets Shaw's message from Emma with the backdoor code for the Sentinels. And initially, when Doug uses the code, nothing happens, and they think that Shaw betrayed them again. But Doug tries it again, and this time it works, and the Sentinels stop right in their tracks. Apparently, he had mispronounced the phrase. He skipped a zero. Then the mutants go on to take out the rest of these Sentinels, and Doug notices that Destiny is pretty much still going through it, and he tells her to cheer up because they're winning this. But she reminds Doug that battles are not wars. Then we pick back up with Shaw while he's still on the run from his assistant. And he's still in contact with Emma, who lets him know that the codes did in fact work and wonders what his angle is. But he tells her that if he dies, then she'll find that Krakoa's ownership has passed to her, assuming she wins. Somebody had to keep hold of the country for safekeeping. But he can't believe she trusted Fisk with the money over him. And good luck getting back any of that. So now Emma's like, are you saying you didn't really betray us? But he's like, oh, of course I did. But I kept my options open. But then he runs into a vault and he finds an X-gene compound and injects himself with it. And then he uses this new power to wipe out this AI assistant. Meanwhile, though, in the White Hot Room, Hope Summers is chasing after the Phoenix, who is now fled within the White Hot Room. She tells Jean that this was Rachel's plan, and she'd hoped it would be one step, but it's not looking like that. And there's more work for Hope to do now. But she realizes that if she's hunting the Phoenix, then she was going to need something a little bit bigger than that 9 milli she has. So she's got to find a way to get a message back home. So she yells out for all the remaining mutants left behind in the White Hot Room to help her by joining in a series of taps against the Krakoan roots. And as they tap out this message, Doug begins to receive it on the other side. It's an SOS, he tells the team. So once they get the message, Rachel Summers calls out to Emma Frost and tells her that they really need Manifold right now, ASAP. So Emma redirects the message, and then Manifold appears right before them. Then Rachel tells him that her request won't be easy, but they need him to get the rest of the 6. And then they need to try to get back to the White Hot Room. But first, Destiny requests that he get them Nightcrawler. So Manifold obliges, and he opens a portal for Nightcrawler to walk through. And now this is the first time that he's seen Destiny since he found out that she was his mother. And his reaction is pretty pleasant. However, he doesn't come out of the portal alone, as he's followed by Mystique, who's pissed at finding out about all of this. And she steps out holding 2 guns aimed right at Destiny, and then straight up opens fire on her. But of course, Destiny is able to get out of harm's way, while Nightcrawler bamfs the guns right out of Mystique's hands. So Destiny can at least explain herself. And that's what Destiny does, as she tells them that before, her visions only extended to Krakoa. And no timeline did she discover the truth until now. And it was when she returned to life and got her second set of visions that she saw timelines where they uncovered the truth. They had finally had a child, and it was Destiny's plan. She knew Azazel would ascend to power. Worldwide chaos, many deaths, including Ravens. So Destiny knew that she had to stop it. And now she doesn't remember how she had justified it to herself at the time, because that memory is locked away from her. But all she knows is what she saw herself say in those other timelines. That she knew Azazel would kill Nightcrawler if they didn't let him become an X-Men. She had to give him up to save him. And she had Xavier purge her memories. Raven chose otherwise though, despite being advised against it, and it jacked up her mind. So when you discovered it, why didn't you tell me, Raven asks. But Destiny tells Raven that there's a threat outside of time and space that has haunted her for a century, talking about Enigma. And revealing any of her new visions would hint at what timelines she had seen and bring Raven to his attention. But she wanted to make sure that if worse came to worse, in the end Raven would know. It would be Destiny's last testament. Then she apologizes to Kurt for his life, but right now she doesn't really have any maternal feelings towards him whatsoever. They were locked away from her. If any residual feelings had remained, she knew it would cause her gift to find the truth. They had to be gone, and she had to hide them from herself. This is what Xavier's Cyblock did to her, and he promised to clear it. That's what the deal was. But he's currently in the hands of the enemy. So hearing that gets Mystique ready for action. She's ready to go to Xavier, and she asks where he is. But Destiny refuses to tell her. If you go, you die. I see it, Destiny tells Mystique. But Mystique is a fighter, and she's not planning on moving in fear. And if Destiny's love is a cage, then she cannot live inside of it. She'll find Xavier with or without Destiny's help. She'll fight for them, even if you've surrendered, she tells Destiny. But Nightcrawler, meanwhile, is called away. They need him for this Manifold mission. But Manifold lets them all know that this will be more dangerous than ever, and they can't all make this trip. So Exodus steps up to the plate to take the journey since he can handle the dangers. And Nightcrawler offers him his Hope Sword, which surprises Exodus. But Nightcrawler tells him that putting his hope in other people's hands is the purest form of hope, which is kind of what it represents. And as Exodus crosses through this portal, he meets up with Hope Summers, and he pleads to her that it's not too late for her to come back with him and let someone else take on this burden, so she's not lost forever. But she responds that Exodus should be happy she's finally doing Messiah stuff and finally listening to him, but it has to be her to do this. But then she takes the sword from Exodus and then tells him to give her dad Cable a message, that he was always there for her. And she never knew her parents, but he was always her dad. But before she finishes that statement, that's exactly who shows up, Cable, who had just completed his Neocracy mission, and he came to tell her goodbye. Then she tells him that she loves him. And then she speaks with the Hope Sword, asking if it's alive, to which the sword responds that it is. And since she's not really a fan of swords, then to make her feel more comfortable, it shifts into a gigantic Cable-style gun for her. Perfect, she says. Then she calls out to Jean Grey, who tells Hope that the Phoenix is gonna be hard to find. She's off into nothing. She'd rather lose herself than die. And Jean will do what she can, she tells Hope. And she can lead Hope and watch for trouble. But it's gonna be Hope that actually has to do it. So Hope is ready, she says. And now it's time to hunt this big dumb bird. Just call her Daddy's girl. And and she walks off in search of the Phoenix. Meanwhile, we finally hear from Enigma, who had been told the truth of the plan from Mother Righteous. And Hope was a great hunter, rebirthing the thing that could be a great threat to Enigma. Even worse, in the one place that he couldn't directly interfere. Of course, there are other places, in other timelines, he says, as he then shows up in Anchorage, Alaska, 9 months before Hope's birth. And he's here to meet with Hope's mother to talk about her pregnancy. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the end of the issue. So what did you guys think about the issue? Did you guys enjoy it? And are you pumped for the conclusion to this story with the upcoming final issue? And also, I want to hear more about how you guys are feeling about the fall of Krakoa so far and how they're handling the closing out of this era. And I want to hear your conspiracy theories on how you think this will all come to an end. Do you guys think that Enigma will stop the birth of Hope Summers? Man, that's crazy. Or maybe it comes full circle and that's how Cable got into contact with her in the first place and she didn't know her parents. But as always, if you guys enjoyed this video and this channel and you'd like to support the channel, then you could do so by stopping by the Comics Icon store and picking you up some of this dope merchandise, including the background music heard right here in this video, or by joining the Iconic Fan Club channel membership. And I'll make sure that there's a link in the description for the membership, the store, and the background music. But with your membership, you'll gain access to weekly interactive live streams with yours truly, where we can talk about everything that's been going down in these issues, as well as ones that you'd like for me to go over in the future and other comic book news. Plus, you guys will get loyalty badges, member shoutouts, and up to 20% off of Comics Icon's merchandise in the Comics Icon store. And now we've got new tiers to the memberships as well, starting at just 99 cents. And all of the tiers get access to the interactive live streams. Now, how's that for an easy way to help out and support your favorite channel? Or you could donate to the channel with a super thanks. And if you're not able to do any of these, then you could still be a huge help to the future of this channel by dropping a like, share, and subscribing to Comics Icons for more icons in the comic book world. But ladies and gentlemen, it's about that time. I'm out. Peace.